Congressman from the House Budget Committee and a member of the Freedom Caucus. Very good to have you with me today, and it's ironically, that's your name. Bob Good, Congressman, good to have you. Do you think you guys are going to get a deal? Thanks for taking the opportunity. I wish your family the best going into this weekend. And do you guys think you're going to get a deal?
Well, there's rumors to that effect, but frankly, Chris, the House has already done its job. The President and the Senate were MIA for 90 days. We spent 90 days negotiating a debt limit increase. As you know, most Republicans didn't, we were on record. We didn't want to raise the debt ceiling. We'd like to cut enough so we didn't ever have to do that again. Most of us have never voted for a debt ceiling increase. I've been in Congress for 2.5 years now. But we came together with reasonable and responsible cuts and reforms to negotiate a modest by DC standard $1.5 trillion increase. Everything that's in the Limit, Save, Grow bill is necessary. It's essential. It was part of how we got a House majority. The Senate should pass the House bill. The President should sign it, avoid any consequence that would come from getting closer to the debt limit that Janet Yellen now says is maybe June 5. So the House has done its job. The Senate and the White House need to do their job.
All right. Here's the one thing. You can negotiate what you want to do going forward. That's fine. But you shouldn't give people the idea that you're going to negotiate on the current debt ceiling. You have to raise it by the amount necessary to pay for the spending that already happened. You see, that's a little bit of the sleight of hand here. You want to negotiate what you guys do going forward. That's fine. I just don't understand why you play with the nation's credit rating to do so. Biden should not be negotiating with you guys. He was right when he said after 2011, oh, I'm never doing this again. This was really bad. You guys should debate the budget when you're debating the budget, but not now when you have to pay the bills or you're going to tank our credit again. How is this the right way to do it?
Well, frankly, he has to negotiate with us. The American people gave the Republicans a House majority. The greatest indication where the American people are politically is the House. As you know, it's proportional across the country, about 800,000 in each congressional district. They gave us a majority. We ran on fiscal responsibility. We ran on cutting spending. We ran on balancing the budget. So the president, quite frankly, has to deal and negotiate with the House. Quite frankly, the Democrats show no interest in cutting spending. You are right what you said a few moments ago, Chris. I'll agree with you. Republicans have been complicit and have contributed to $32 trillion in national debt. But we're projected to hit $53 trillion in the next 10 years. That's unsustainable. A true default, Chris, is when we can no longer pay the interest on the debt. We can no longer service the bonds and the treasury bills and so forth. We can no longer sell our debt. That will happen if we don't cut our spending. It's only Republicans who are willing to cut spending. We can't get the Democrats to join us on any spending cuts, so we have to use the debt ceiling to force that to happen.
You're willing to cut spending now. You didn't want to cut spending under Trump. It was fine then.
I was not there in the previous presidency. I would not have voted. I would have joined my House Freedom Caucus colleagues and the conservatives who voted against the debt limit increase during that time. That was primarily Democrat votes with the Republican White House that raised the debt ceiling.
Yeah, it was under President Trump. You know, you guys weren't victims of it. Look, the point is, this is the game that frustrates people so much. And I don't have any problem with you.
It's not a game. It's serious, Chris. It's serious.
Oh, it's a game.
We got to bring fiscal responsibility to the government.
I know, but here's the thing.
We're going to do our job.
Yeah, but you're not being fiscally responsible by messing with our ability to pay what you already spent. That is not responsible. Responsible is making sure you do it better going forward.
There's more than enough money coming into the Treasury, $400 billion a month, the most it's ever come into the Treasury. There's more than enough to pay the $70 billion that we owe monthly on our debt, to fund Social Security and Medicare, to fund veterans benefits in our military. But what we're going to do is force spending cuts. At least that's what the House majority voted to do back on April 25, in order to put us on a path towards future fiscal responsibility, solvency, if you will, and hopefully enough cuts put in place this year and next year that we don't have to do this again.
If you guys really wanted to be responsible, you should pass a law that you cannot hold up the debt ceiling to negotiate future spending.
If we didn't have the leverage of the debt ceiling, Chris, we would never have any spending cuts. As you know, this is not unusual. People want to act like this is, is some kind of an exception.
It is not unusual.
Over the last
35 it is not an exception.
The only spending cuts that have ever been negotiated have been done in tandem with the debt ceiling increase.
But look, that doesn't make it right, okay? And I think that's why it's so adversarial and it's always about brinksmanship. But listen, Congressman, I appreciate you. making the case here, and you're always welcome to do so. I hope you have a good weekend, unless you guys don't get a deal. And then I hope your hot dog does not taste so good. Take care.
Great to be
I'll
with you,
talk to you
Chris.
again
Thank
soon.
you.
All
You
right.
as well this weekend.
All right. Be well. All right. Now let's bring in Congressman.